Hi everyone and welcome to Real Yoga. My name is Hannah and this guy is Felix. And today we're coming at you with a request from the community for yoga for triathletes. Now, I had no idea what a triathlon involved because I have never been shy about my aversion to cardio fitness. But swimming, cycling, and running, so much. So if you're a swimmer, a cyclist, or a runner, this session will also be great for you. It's all about the post-workout stretches. So we're really going to do a full body stretch. It's going to be excellent even if you're not a triathlete or a swimmer or a runner or a cyclist. But I do encourage you that if you're not super flexible and you know that you're not super flexible, grab something like a yoga block. It doesn't have to be fancy yoga equipment. You can simply use two drink bottles or two tissue boxes or cereal boxes. Find something around your household that can bring the earth up to meet you if you think that you will require that today. Hey, bear. And then, of course, if you have any requests, you're very welcome to send me a message here on YouTube, or you can DM me on Instagram at Real Yoga. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to support free quality yoga for everybody. So when you're ready, triathletes, grab your stretchy pants and we'll meet you on the mat. Okay, everybody, let's begin lying down flat on our backs in Shavasana. So come to lie all the way down on your mat or your towel or whatever you're using. Take your feet a bit wider than hips distance and allow your feet to flop open to the sides. Close your eyes as you snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you so you just feel the slight lift up of your heart space, your chest. And then begin to take the deepest breath in that you've taken all day long. Hold it at the top. Keep holding the breath, hold it in your throat, and then open your mouth, make noise as you sigh it out. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time. Full breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. Great. And then from here, if it's accessible for you today, just simply begin to breathe naturally in and out through your nose if that works. If it's allergy season or for any other reason breathing through your nose is not available to you, no problem. You can breathe however makes you feel alive today. And now I just want to note, because if you are a triathlete or any other sort of athlete taking this class today, it might be really hard for you to just lie here in Shavasana. Someone like me, this is like I'm in my prime environment. This is what my body was designed to do. So I have no problem lying on the floor and breathing. But if you're someone who is used to a competitive environment, pushing yourself to the limit, this is going to be really hard for you. And I want to acknowledge that that is totally okay. Allow it to be difficult. I mean, you're all doing these crazy difficult things that I would find impossible to do. So you know that you can power through the impossible. So maybe for you today, this is the hardest thing that you're going to have to do. But I want to give you the space to be able to slow down. Breathing deeply in and out through your nose or mouth. And as you inhale, you feel this sense of expansion in your body. Maybe you feel it more in your belly or your chest, your diaphragm, or maybe you feel it somewhere else. And then as you exhale, feel the sensation of softening, allowing your body to get heavy as you melt deeply into the mat. Now, our yoga mat is certainly not a place for competition. You're not even competing with yourself. Just allow whatever comes up, whatever you're able or not able to do. That's just how it is today. Just let that be. And this practice has been designed to relieve muscle tension. So if you are an athlete or simply someone who is quite active throughout your daily life, our time on the mat today is all about this stretch and this release of our muscles, and we're going to get into as many of those muscle groups as possible. So if the lying down breathing is just about ready to tip you over the edge and you're ready to turn off this video, I want you to take one more full breath in through your nose. And again, sigh it out your mouth, make some noise. Beautiful. You can open your eyes as you slowly bend your knees in towards your chest. Grab a hold of your knees and simply begin to take any movements that feel nice for your lower back, for your legs, your hip joints. Nice. So just wiggling around your mat in a way that feels nice for you. Or maybe that just means squeezing your knees into your chest, feeling this compression of your thighs against your belly. Lovely. So come to stillness, hugging your knees in. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to release your left knee and plant your left foot on the floor as you hug your right knee in towards your chest. Nice. Relax your shoulders here. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to take the left hand to the left hip. Just let it rest there simply. And then right hand to the inside of your right leg. And now for some of us, it'll be sort of easy to grab a hold of the outer edge of your foot. And for some, you're going to be like, that's fine. Either grab for the outer edge of your foot for your ankle, or you might even be able to just grab it behind your knee. So choose the level that you're at today, and once you've decided where you want to be, then flex your foot up to the sky, and then pull your knee down towards your armpit. So again, we're either holding onto the foot, holding onto the ankle, or even maybe your pant leg, or you're just simply hugging your elbow or your forearm around the back of your knee. So the main thing here is to flex your toes down towards the earth and press the heel of the foot up, and we're in a half happy baby or a half straddle pose. Our left hand is on our left hip as a reminder to keep guiding that hip down towards the mat. So we don't want to lift our left butt cheek too far away from the earth. It might lift a little bit, and over time, the more you kind of come back to this practice, the easier it's going to be to keep the left hip grounded. So don't stress too much if that's not quite happening for you today. Take another full deep breath in here. And again, use that exhale to draw your knee a little more towards your right armpit. Keep flexing your foot for one more inhale. And this time as you exhale, release your leg and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And now take your right hand to the inside of your knee. Keep this right foot flexed, that's super important, as we very gently press the right knee away from us. I like to say that you can think of your leg as like your dog who you love, but he's got really stinky breath. So you're just kind of like, I love you, but please move away from my face. So that's what we're doing here, finding this gentle opening up through the right hip. And if your hips are super duper tight, this is going to be plenty of stretch for you, and feel very welcome to stay here just working in this position. If you're not really feeling this one, you can add on by simply lifting your left foot away from the mat, keep this right foot flexed, and then threading your arms behind your left knee and clasping the hands behind your knee as you draw the left knee towards you and keep pressing that stinky dog breath right knee away from you. A little bit of activity in both toes as you simply breathe deeply here. Nice. Try to relax your shoulders and notice if you're gripping any tension in your chest or your face. Learn to use your breath here, your exhale breath, to find that softness. Nice. We're going to be here for just one more inhale. And one more exhale. If your left foot is lifted, release it down back to the floor. And then take both arms out into a big T shape as you send your right foot over to the left until your right foot comes all the way down. Oh, I'm going to knock my blocks over. And here we are in a very gentle twist. So you can choose to look towards your right hand and try and let your legs relax as much as possible. That is the sound of my dog trying to dig into the carpet for whatever reason. Nice. One more inhale breath here. And one more exhale. Inhale as you bring both legs up to center. Unravel your legs and once again hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a good old-fashioned squeeze. And then when you're ready, keep the left knee hugging in as you drop the right foot down to the mat. Nice. Give that left knee a squeeze towards your chest. And then take the right hand to the right hip just as a reminder to keep that baby down. And then bring your left hand inside your left leg to either reach around for the outer edge of your left foot, or your ankle, or if all of that is too much, you can just hook your arm behind your knee as you flex your foot up to the sky. So the main thing here is to keep this foot really active. So press the toes down towards the nose and the heel of the foot up towards the clouds as you take an inhale. And then exhale, start to draw that knee a little bit closer down towards your armpit in whichever variation that you're in. Again, notice if this right butt cheek really wants to lift away from the mat. Can you aim to keep drawing that right hip down? And that might mean that your left knee doesn't go so far down to the mat. That's no problem. Keep flexing your left toes towards your nose for one more inhale. One more exhale. Nice. And then from here, gently take your left ankle and cross it over your right knee. And then once again, press that left knee away from you using your left hand like that dog with stinky breath. So we're finding loving movements of our body here. We're not rushing through anything, all very slow and steady. And as I said on the other side, and know that you don't have to do everything equally on both sides. I'm sure if any of you have done yoga before, you might have had a teacher that's very adamant that whatever you did on one side, you can do on the other. Don't listen, it's fine. Don't stress, we're not equal on both sides. So if this side is even tighter than the other, then you're welcome to stay here and maybe it's looser. And if you like, you can lift that right foot away from the mat and interlace your fingertips behind your right knee. The most important thing here is to keep that left foot super active. So keep pressing the heel away and flexing the toes as you gently guide that left knee away from your face. So here we are in what's called a reclined pigeon pose. So it's quite a deep hip opener. And from the research I did on triathletes, y'all have some tight hips, I'm hearing, which is why we're starting low, allowing gravity to help us out in these stretches. Beautiful. Just one more inhale breath here. And one more exhale. If your foot is lifted, release your hands and guide your right foot back down. Take your arms out into that big T shape again as you send your left foot all the way over to the right, this time looking over your left shoulder. Nice. We're just here for 2 breaths. Slowly draw your knees back towards the center. Unravel your legs, give yourself a final squeeze, a little hug. And then from here, take the hands behind your knees, and we're going to start to roll up and down a couple of times along our mat. So this is just for funsies. You might get a little bonus spinal massage if you're lucky. And then we're going to keep rolling all the way up, cross the ankles, shift the hands forward, and send yourself back into a tabletop position or 4-point kneeling. So take your wrists directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. My hair is doing some funny stuff. Anyway, if you've got sensitive knees, you're welcome to either double wrap or kind of fold over your yoga mat, or you can bring a blanket or a towel or something underneath your knees, no problem. So spread your fingers really wide, press down into the tops of your feet. And as you inhale, start to micro bend your elbows as you drop your belly, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together as your chin lifts and your gaze moves upwards. At the same time, can you roll your butt, your sit bones up to the sky? Find another breath in here. And then as you exhale, start to press into the mat as you draw your chin to your chest and round your upper body towards the clouds. Draw your belly button in strongly. Again, on an inhale breath, bend those elbows as you drop your belly, look up, lift your sit bones high, and then exhale again, tuck your chin to your chest as you roll your spine to the sky. Keep moving here with your breath. So it's an inhale to open through the front body, stretching the front of the throat, and an exhale to find this really rounded spine. It's called cat pose, so think of an angry Halloween cat. And then here, just simply move with your breath. Slow and steady, slow and controlled, so that you can really feel this sweet unfurling of your spine in both directions. If there's only one thing you take from this class that you do every day or whenever you can, it's this pose, cat-cow. Let's take just one more round. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Slowly bring yourself back to center and then walk your knees in just a little more. So take about a 2-inch gap between your knees. And then here we're going to tuck our toes underneath us and start to walk your hands back towards your knees. And then take your fingers and slide them underneath your baby pinky toes so that they don't miss out on the fun that's about to happen. And then start to walk your hands up your thighs until we're sitting on our hips with our toes tucked under. And this baby is called flyer toes. I can't imagine why. So this is another big pose and a very deep release of the fascia of the foot. And again, if it's not intense enough and you need to intensify the sensation, think about squeezing the arches of your feet together. Ooh, hello. Nice. Find this lift up through the spine and this very gentle contraction of the pelvic floor to sort of lift your hips lightly away from your heels. So we're not just dumping down here. We're finding this energetic lift up through the body as our toes are on fire. Whoo. Breathing. This is one of those poses that you want to come out of before it's over, and I totally understand that, but it's also such a great stretch for the feet. So let's stay here for about 70 more breaths. No, I'm kidding. Just 2 more breaths. One more deep inhale. Let it out the mouth. You can scream. And then slowly walk your hands forward, uncurl your toes, and give your feet a little bit of a bash. Nice. All right, the fascia fun does not stop there. Now we're going to work into the fascia of the backs of our legs. So I learned this one from my teacher, and it's a bit of a killer, but it's good times. Take your right knee to the center of the mat, and then pick up your left leg, and we want to cross the left shin bone into the meaty part of the right calf muscle. So kind of get it in there. And then we're going to start to walk our hands back any amount. I really like to stay on my fingertips in this pose just to kind of brace myself, because I find this very intense. And if you've got really tight muscles, you're probably right there alongside me. Eventually we work to sort of sit back hands-free Bluetooth style, but OMG, not today. So just find a position here that I want to say works for you, but I feel like that's the wrong choice of words when your right calf feels like it may explode. So again, find this lightness in your upper body. If you've got this heavy upper body, it's just going to make this pose feel so much worse. So we'll stay here for a few more breaths. I promise we're doing some good stuff for our delightful bodies. After a time, you might feel that you can kind of come off the hands even more, maybe just for your final breath here. Yikes. You can ask me for my teacher's phone number if you want to send her some hate messages. And then again, slowly walk yourself forward, unravel your legs, yowza. And now tuck your right toes underneath you and extend your right leg. And here, feel free to shift a little forwards and backwards, just stretching out that right calf. Yikes. All right, we get to play that fun game on the other side. So this time, keep your left knee about the center of your mat. Lift up your right leg and cross your right shin bone now into that juicy, meaty left calf muscle. And then slowly start to walk your hands back. Again, notice if one side feels completely different to the other. There are so many varied reasons for that. I will not get into them because I don't know what your lifestyle is like. I don't know what you're doing. It's all good. We're going to be here sitting and breathing. Whoosa. Again, try and find this lightness through the upper body so your chest is nice and open as much as you can. And remember, you can keep leaning forward but still sort of find this brightness in your chest wherever you're at. And of course, if you're feeling that you've got a little more to give on this side, you can go hands-free style. Maybe you're flipping me the bird. I mean, I get it. I deserve it. We're here for 2 more breaths. One more breath. Yowza. Okay, start to walk your hands forward again. Unravel your legs, thank goodness. This time tuck the left toes underneath you, extend the left leg back, and very gently start to shift your weight forwards and backwards just to stretch out that left calf muscle. Beautiful. And then come to center. Take your knees hips distance apart. If you're using your blocks, at this point, kind of bring them closer to the top edge of your mat just to set up for what we're doing afterwards. And now spread your fingers really wide, tuck your toes underneath you. Start to rotate your elbow creases forward. Can you keep your hands in that position as you send your hips back to your heels and leading from your booty, start to curl your butt up to the sky, finding a downward facing dog. So your knees can be way bent here. As you send your head in between your arms, keep pressing into your hands, finding lots of length through your spine. And then once you've set that up, feel free to pedal out your legs one at a time. So straightening one leg and bending the knee of the other, just stretching through the backs of those legs even more. We've done all that fascia work to help open up the backs of our legs so that downward dog doesn't feel too horrible. Nice. Lovely. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, send your chest a little closer to your thighs as you lift your sit bones up high. Shake out your head and your neck so they can be really, really loose here. And if your heels are nowhere near touching the floor, that's no problem. In fact, it's much nicer to bend your knees here and keep creating this really long, supple spine rather than this worry about having super straight legs. It's not necessary in this pose at all. We'll be here for just one more inhale. One more exhale. Nice. On your next inhale breath, look forward, and we're going to step the right foot forward next to the right thumb, and then drop your back knee behind you. So this is a great place if it's already a little difficult for you to reach the floor. You can grab your drink bottles or your tissue boxes or your yoga blocks, if you did happen to have some lying around, to lift the earth up to you so that you can create more length here in your spine. So that's why we use props, and I love to use props. You've got a whole heap of levels that you can play around with, depending on what you're using, of course. And then here again, think about lifting up through your heart so your chest is really open. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, allow your pelvis to drop down towards the mat. But at the same time, can you squeeze your inner thighs together so you can start to feel the muscles of your legs just having a little hello. So when we stretch and we release like this, if we're not contracting our muscles, our body starts to panic a little. Whereas if we're contracting our muscles, we're allowing our body the knowledge that we've got this. We're not going to let you just blow out a hip socket or whatever's going on. And so therefore your body will be able to relax a little deeper into a pose like this lunge. All right, we're going to be here for just one more inhale. And one more exhale. Sweet. From here, take your left foot and swing it over to the right. And then take your left hand to your left waist as you straighten through the right leg. And then we're going to turn the right toes forward. So I'm going to actually swing around here so that you can see what this looks like from the front. So I've got both my hands on my waist. My left knee is underneath my left hip, and then my right leg is extended out to the side with my big toe facing forward, and my toe is more or less in line with my knee. So this is a bit of a gate pose variation. So again, find this lift up through your torso, nice and tall, and then from here, take your right arm out to the side and flip your hand up like you're serving something on a tray, and then take the back of the hand down the right leg as you slide that hand down your right leg until you start to experience a stretch across the left side of your body. Nice. Now, can you rotate your left shoulder back, give your right rib cage a little bit of sunlight, and you can stay here or inhale, reach your right arm to the sky, and as you exhale, send your right arm over your left arm over your left ear as you find a full side bend into this pose. Who's that? Nice. Inhale to come back up to center. And then from here, we're going to reach both hands forward. So we're sort of in that all fours position again, but we've got like a funky leg situation going on. Okay. And then from here, we're going to find that same cat-cow motion. So drop your belly, micro bend your elbows as you lift your chin, look up. And then exhale, press into your hands and around your spine. Nice. Inhale to come back to neutral. And then reach your left arm up to the sky. Take another breath in to find space. And as you exhale, thread your left arm underneath the right arm, come onto the outside of your left shoulder and the left ear. And then here you can pop up your right fingertips like a little spidey hand. Press into your fingerprints to rotate your right shoulder a little closer to the sky. Nice. You're welcome to stay here. Or if you like, you can reach that right arm up to the clouds. Maybe even flip the hand behind you, bend your elbow and snuggle your hand into your left hip crease. But just an add-on, it's available if you would like it. Beautiful. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. If you're bound with that right arm, re-extend it to the sky to bring it back down, and then press into your right palm to unravel your left hand. Beautiful. And then we're going to walk all the way back to the front edge of the mat. Remember that I flipped, so I'm going to flip myself back again. And then we're back in that low lunge at the top of our yoga mat. So I'm going to grab my blocks again to find that additional length in my spine, particularly now because we're going into quite a deep hamstring stretch. And I'm going to be honest, this is not one of my favorite stretches, but I can't deny its effectiveness in lengthening your hamstrings if done correctly. So I very much encourage you to take props if you've got them here. Oops. So inhale to lengthen through your spine, and as you exhale, shift your hips back and flex your right toes towards your nose. Now our back knee should be more or less directly underneath our back hip. So if you need to shuffle this front foot forward a little to make that happen, go ahead. And then pressing into your props, reach your heart forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Nice. You can stay here or take another inhale to find length. And as you exhale, keep drawing that belly button in, and maybe you start to micro bend your elbows. So you should be feeling this through the whole backside of your front leg. And here my leg is straight, but absolutely with a bent knee, I'm still experiencing the exact same stretch. So no drama about having, cut in some specific shapes here. All right, we're gonna do just one more breath in here and out. And now take both hands to the inside of your right leg, both hands and blocks if you're using them. And then just walk your right foot out a little bit more to the right. And then here, spread your toes really wide. So now you may have felt that the stretch in your leg shifted more to the outer edge or your IT band, your connective tissue. So that's where we want to kind of feel it. So keep spreading your toes, and then to exaggerate this even more, you can start to fan your toes open to the right. Now keep extending your heart forward, so we want a really long spine here. For just one more inhale and one more exhale. Nice. If your toes fan out open to the right, send them back to the center. You can walk your foot back to the midline and then roll forward back into that lunge. Remove your blocks, press into your hands, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and step back into your downward facing dog. And again here, feel free to pedal out the legs one at a time. It's very likely that your right leg is going to feel super different to your left, as it should. It's just had a whole lot of work done on it. Feels like it's gone to a plastic surgeon. Maybe. And when you're ready, we're going to move through the other side. So find stillness in your down dog. We'll first set up with a breath. So take a deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. And then inhale to look forward. This time step your left foot forward. You can help it there if it didn't make it on the first try. And then drop your right knee behind you, untuck your toes, and find your lunge. Again here, your blocks are a very happy friend to have at the top of your mat. And of course, if you need to pad out your back knee, then please go ahead. So I love to use props as much as I can in my practice. I don't think that it's cheating or it makes me less advanced. It's just a really great tool to help me experience the poses in not only a different way, but a way where I can really focus on the muscle groups that I'm trying to lengthen, extend, or strengthen. All right, so here we are, we're hanging out in our lunge for just one more beat here. And then when you're ready, this time we're going to swing the right foot behind us to the left side of the mat. I'll move these out of the way so that you can see. Take your right hand to your waist as you lengthen through your torso. Straighten your left leg this time and point your left toes to the top edge of your mat. So here we are again in that gate pose variation. See if you can sort of line up your big toe towards your front knee, but don't stress too much. If that's really painful in your foot in any way, then please adjust your leg until you feel comfortable in this shape. All right, and then from here, take your left arm out to the side, palm facing up, and then slide the back of your hand down your left leg. Start to rotate your right shoulder open, sending your left rib cage a little bit more sunshine. And you can stay here or inhale to reach the right arm up to the sky. And exhale as your right arm goes over your right ear. Nice. You can turn to face towards your armpit. Just check out that situation for a second. One more breath here. And then using your right arm, inhale to come back to center. And then once again, I'm going to shift my hands directly forward. So I'm in another 4-point sort of situation, the funky version. Nice. And then we'll take another round of cat-cow. So inhale as you bend your elbows, drop your belly, look up. And then exhale to round your spine to the sky, your chin to your chest. Nice. Inhale to come back to center. And then press into the left hand. This time, right arm reaches up to the sky. And as you exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. Come onto the outside of your right shoulder and your right ear. And then we can prop those left fingertips up like a little spider hand once again to find more rotation in your chest. So sending that left shoulder a little higher to the sky. And of course, you're very welcome to stay here, good twist for your body, or send that left arm up, maybe flip the hand behind you, bend your elbow, and see if you can say hello to your right hip crease. And if your hand just simply rests on your low back instead, that's totally fine. The option here is more about opening that left shoulder closest to the sky. Nice. One more breath in here. And out. If you're bound, re-extend the arm to the sky and then press down into your left palm to unravel. And then walk both of your hands back to the top of your mat and we'll meet again in that low lunge. Nice. So once again, grab your props here. I'm going to take mine to a higher angle. As I inhale, extend the heart forward. The spine is really long. And then as you exhale, shift your hips back and flex your toes towards your nose. Again, if I straighten this front leg a lot, my hip goes way back behind my front knee. So I'm going to send this left foot forward so that my right hip and knee are stacked one on top of the other. And again, my left knee is really bent, which is no problem because I'm flexing my toes towards my nose and pushing the heel of my foot forward so I can still totally feel a stretch happening in my left hamstring. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Inhale to extend the spine forward. And then exhale, draw the belly in. Maybe start to micro bend those elbows if that feels like an option that you can take today. And of course, if you're using props that you can adjust the size of, maybe instead of micro bending your elbows, you just simply find a lower level. Nice. One more breath in here. Exhale. Now again, we're going to take both hands to the inside of the left leg and then scooch that left foot over a little more to the left. And now spread your toes really wide, like you're opening your foot like a fan, and then keep reaching your heart forward. So feel that we're now targeting the outer part of our leg a little bit more. And if it's not enough of a sensation for you, then start to rotate the toes open to the left. So we should be nailing that IT band here. And if you can't really feel it, chances are good that maybe your spine has started to round. So keep reaching your heart forward, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Think as though you almost want to go into a back bend. It ain't gonna happen. Nice. One more breath here. Beautiful. If your toes are fanned out to the side, bring them back to center. Start to walk your foot back to the center of your mat as you roll it forward. Let's shift these blocks off to the side. We're not going to use them again. Press into your hands, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and send it back into your downward facing dog. Nice. Fingertips spread really wide. Press into your hands so you can lift your hips high. Release your head and neck. And again, if you want to pedal out your legs, Noticing the sensations in both of your legs now. Please go for it. We're here for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. From here, start to inhale as you lift up super high on your tippy toes, and then bend your knees and slowly tiptoe your feet forward towards your hands. And then allow your feet to go about hips width distance apart. Bend your knees, grab a hold of opposite elbows, and allow your torso to simply dangle over your legs. And you can sway your body a little bit from side to side, shake out your head, your neck. You're welcome to open your mouth, stick out your tongue, make noises, blah, blah, blah. Just let something go here in your forward fold, Uttanasana. Nice. And then release your fingertips to the floor. Your knees can be way bent here, no problem. And then slide your hands all the way up to your thigh creases as you extend your heart forward. And now turn to face directly down at the floor, but can you lift the back of your skull slightly so your neck is nice and long? Take 1 more inhale breath. And then exhale again, bend your knees and fold it down. Press into your feet. As you inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Big stretch through the sides of your body. Bring your hands together. And exhale, allow your hands to land in front of your heart in Tadasana. Nice. Now, take the hair out of your mouth. Readjust your pants. Do anything you need to do. You can even give it a little shake off. We're going to work into those feet again a little more and into our quads. So come to a standing position that feels really stable for you. For me, I like to have my feet about hips width distance apart, but you might be different, so choose your option. And then again, bring your hands to your waist. Inhale to lift up through your chest. And as you exhale, start to shift the weight into your left foot. And then take the right toes behind you, the top of the foot, pointing down towards the mat. And here we're stretching into the tops of the feet. So for a little more, you can maybe go back a little more and find more stretch, or closer, just you choose the place where you feel somewhat balanced and that you can start to experience this stretch across the front of your foot. Should feel nice. We can stay here for a little bit longer. Or if you're feeling ready, find your balance. Maybe find something in front of you to stare at so that you don't lose your focus. And then take your right heel to your butt, and you can reach around with your right hand and grab your foot. Now squeeze the heel of the foot into your booty, but notice if your knee wants to stick out in front. Can you line your knees up? And then you'll see here when I do that, I have this tendency to stick my belly out. Can you keep your knees in line, but then start to nip your lower ribs in, start to contract your belly muscles so you feel quite firm through your core, your center, and then get your shoulders over your hips. And that should help to enhance the stretch in your quad. Nice, we're here for just 1 more inhale. And use your exhale to release your foot back down, maybe give it a little shake, and then we can go to the other side. So this time we're going to bring our weight more into the right foot, and then start to lift the left foot away from the earth, and then tap the top of your foot back behind you until you start to feel that nice stretch. So lift up through your chest, lift the crown of your head up to the sky. Ooh. Feels good, no? It's a nice stretch, and it's good because you can really kind of bring your own pressure to it. So, be gentle with yourself. Or if you really like it, then of course you can go a little harder. Nice, and then when you feel satisfied, start to draw that left heel towards your left glute. Reach around with your left hand to squeeze the foot towards your booty. And again, take a second to line up the knees, start to nip the low ribs in, start to contract the core muscles to stabilize so that your shoulders are in line with your hips are in line with your ankles, and you're really feeling this nice stretch across your left quad muscle. Beautiful. We're here for a couple more breaths. If you fall, it's no problem. But really, this is about finding a stretch. So it's not so much about the balance. So feel free to grab a small child or something to help you balance on. One more breath here. And then very gently release. Give everything a bit of a shake. All right, come back to the top of your mat. Inhale to sweep your arms to the sky. Look up, bring your hands together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale again to lengthen your spine, straighten your legs, hands come to your thighs. Roll your shoulders back, draw your elbows towards one another. Take another breath in here. And then exhale, fold it back down, press into your hands, and step back into your downward facing dog. Nice. From downward facing dog, walk your big toes to touch. And then inhale to send that right leg high. Exhale to bend the right knee and start to open your right side. So feel this nice stretch across the right side of your body. Can you press more into your right hand, pulling your left heel closer to the earth, and then lifting from the inner seam of your right leg to get that knee even higher. One more inhale breath here. Nice. And then exhale to take that foot forward. Step your right foot next to your right thumb. Again, you can help it there in a couple of beats if you need to. And here we're going to stay in a low lunge just for a second. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Nice. And then exhale, drop your left knee. We're going to walk this right foot over to the left side of our mat. Bring the right knee down. And then here we're going to take that left knee to our right heel, or bend it rather. So let me show you from the front. We're kind of bendy in the knees. So we call this position deer position because obviously this is how deers are like hanging out in the woods, having tea parties and stuff. So however you got there, you got there. So it's all good. Okay. So you've got your right knee forward, your left foot behind you, any amount, whatever feels most comfortable for you here. So FYI though, it's going to be a little easier the closer that your front foot is towards your body. The further away your foot is, or the more parallel you can get the front of the leg, the more intense the stretch on the hip. So you choose what works for you today. And then bring your fingertips by your sides. As you inhale, lift your chest. And then as you exhale, start to walk your hands forward. And this might already start to be hella intense on your right hip, and that's fine. You're welcome to stay here, or you can maybe come down to your forearms, or maybe even start to rest your head down on your mat. Now we're going to stay here for about 6 or so breaths. Try to feel very heavy through your right hip especially. And again, come back to this breath, this feeling of expansion as you inhale, and the sensation of softening as you exhale. Relax your shoulders, relax your facial muscles. Two more breaths here. And one more breath. And slowly begin to make your way up. And then here we're going to take this left foot and swing it all the way around to the outer edge of our right thigh. So now we look something like this. Now we want to start to draw this left hip down to the mat, but that will not happen for everybody. So if it's not happening for you today, just extend the right leg out in front of you, no problem. And then from here, hug your left knee in with your right arm, and then use that hug sensation to extend your spine. And take your left hand behind you and find a gentle twist here. So inhale to lengthen the crown of your head up to the sky, and then exhale, draw the belly in softly to create a little space to twist deeper. Nice. One more inhale here. And use your exhale to bring yourself back to center. And in whichever position you're in, both knees bent or one knee, start to lean back and unravel your legs. Send them out in front of you, give them a little shake. Do-do-do. Lovely. And now hug that right knee in towards your body. And then pick up your right foot with your left hand. Nice. And then here we're simply going to, we can use the right hand to sort of guide the leg. We're simply going to move our leg around in our hip socket. So a bit of back and forth. You can kind of bend forwards and backwards. Just finding some movement here, lubricating up that hip joint. And then in a second, we're going to get into the fascia of our right hip. So for some of us, this is going to be super, super intense. So just take it easy. All right, so find stillness. This time take your right hand quite far away from you so that you can fall onto your right forearm. And then here, we're just going to get into it. So work into that juicy, juicy part of your right hip or thigh. To be honest, if you're an athlete, then you're probably not quite as juicy as I am, but I'm sure this will still feel good. And really, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You'll know when you've hit the good spot. So we're just kind of making a little dough with our booty cheeks. Yay! Cool. And when you feel satisfied, bring yourself back up, cross your ankles, roll yourself forward, and we'll meet again in downward facing dog. Find really bent knees, little twisty, turny action. Just move organically in this shape in a way that feels great for you. And then when you're ready, inhale to lift your left leg up high. Exhale to bend the left knee and open up through your left side. Now press more into the left hand as you draw the right heel closer to the earth. And from the inner seam of your left thigh, can you lift that knee even higher? One more inhale breath here. And then exhale to step the left foot next to the left thumb. Keep the back knee lifted here for just a beat as we extend the heart forward. One more breath. Nice. And then exhale to drop your right knee. Walk this left foot over to the right and then come to this sort of half pigeon pose. So the right knee comes down and now, your left knee comes down and now bend your right leg. So we're back in this deer shape. So again, little ziggy-zaggy legs. And if you've got more open hips, which is probably unlikely if you're a super tight athlete, then you can bring your shin parallel. But as I said, the chances are good. Even me, who's done yoga for a really long time, I still like to kind of not push my hips too much. Ooh, my hair's doing all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, so set up your legs, feel comfy, get cozy. Press into your hands as you inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, we're going to start to reach the heart forward, come down any amount that feels good for you. Maybe just the forearms today is going to be enough. That's great. If you've still got your props nearby, you might even use your prop as a low-key pillow. Or you might come all the way down. Again, we're going to live here for around 5 or so breaths. Take your time. Expansion as you inhale and softness as you exhale. Find your final breath in and out. And slowly start to bring yourself back up. Lean back so that you can swing this right foot all the way around to the outer edge of your left thigh. And then try to drop this right booty, cheek down to the mat. And again, if it's not going to happen, you can extend your left leg, no problem. Hug your right knee in with your left arm, and then use that kind of move to lengthen your spine. And then take the right hand behind you, inhale to lift, and then exhale to find a twist. Just a couple of breaths here. See if on your exhale, as you draw your belly in, maybe that creates a bit more space to twist a little bit deeper. Nice. Slowly make your way back to center. Lean back to unravel your legs. Once again, send those babies out in front of you. Give them a good old shake. And then hug the left knee in. Pick up your left foot with your right hand, and you can just sort of guide it with the left hand. And again, we're just going to move the leg back and forth and side to side and all sorts of places, just to start lubricating up that left hip joint. If you're getting clicks and pops and things here, that's all good. It's just your body making some music for you. Fabulous. When you feel satisfied with that, take your left arm way out to the left to fall onto your forearm. And again, we're just kind of going to knead in to that left hip meat. Your left butt meat. Ooh. And you might find a really juicy spot. Feel free to stay on it. Again, don't worry so much about if you're doing this correctly or not. You'll know intuitively when you found a place that needs a little extra attention. Excellent. Huzzah. I'm getting carried away in my juicy left hip spot. So when you feel satisfied, bring yourself back out, up, shake out your legs. And then once again, cross your ankles, roll forward, press into your hands. Downward facing dog, a super bendy, twisty, juicy one, just to stretch out and release through those hips. That was some pretty intensive hip work, especially if you're really tight in those areas. Find stillness in your down dog. Walk your big toes to touch. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly descend your knees all the way down to the earth. Untuck your toes and come to sit on your heels in a kneeling position. All right, so just before when we started, we did the toes curled under to work in the fascia of the foot. And now we're going to go a little more intensely into the fronts of the feet. So take your hands together at your heart. Inhale to lift your chest. And as you exhale, start to lean yourself back. And your knees might even start to lift off of the mat. Now, if your knees lift and it's way too much, please bring your fingertips down to the earth, no problem. If you want to challenge your balance here and you want your hands to your heart, go ahead and do that. You should feel the stretching through the fronts of your feet. You're like, Hannah, yeah, we can. We're here for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Ooh. That sounded like Winnie the Pooh. Oh, come forward, release. Walk it forward, bash out your feet. Yowza. And then walk your hands forward and slide all the way down onto your belly. Keep your hands underneath your shoulders and then tuck your chin to your chest. You can rest your forehead down, or if like me, your nose is too big, maybe just kiss the mat. And roll your shoulders away from your ears. On an inhale, press into the tops of your feet as you roll yourself up. Find a Cobra Pose. So squeeze your elbows back and towards one another as you keep reaching your heart forward like it's about to bust out of your chest. Press so strong into all 10 toenails. So really push them down into the earth. One more inhale here. And then exhale, roll it down. Again, inhale to lift up, really pressing into the tops of the feet, rolling your shoulders back, heart reaches forward. One more breath. And then exhale, melt it down. Nice. From here, take your right arm out to the right, and then pop your left fingerprints up like a little spider hand again. We're going to stretch the fronts of the shoulders, so bend your left knee, and then start to roll over onto your right hip. Maybe your toes tap down behind you. And here we're stretching the front of the right shoulder into the pectoral muscle. Breathing deep. If you would like a little bit more for the quad, you can reach your left hand for your left foot and maybe find that little quad stretch, similar to how we were doing standing. Try and relax your head and neck down to the mat or onto the block if you've got it nearby. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. If you've got a hold of your foot, release that and then roll yourself back down onto your belly. This time extend your left arm in line with your left shoulder. Bend your right elbow and pop up onto your right fingerprints. And now bend your right knee and roll over onto your left hip. Again, maybe those toes tap down behind you. Nice. Allow your head and your neck to relax down towards the earth, feeling this stretch across the front of your left shoulder. And if you want to add on that quad stretch, you can reach for your right foot with your right hand and then pull the heel in towards your booty. Nice. Your head and your neck are super relaxed here. 1 more breath. Release your foot if you've got it. Roll yourself back down onto your belly. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Send your hips to your heels and find a brief rest in child's pose, allowing your forehead to touch the earth. You can have your knees together or apart, whichever works best for you. Maybe you roll your head from side to side. 1 more inhale. And 1 more exhale. Lovely. Start to walk your hands towards your body so that you can shift onto your booty. We've got one final pose to do before we wrap it up. I know this has been a long session, but hopefully it hasn't been too much of a strenuous session. Just nice and stretchy. So first, hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself another squeeze. You can adjust your low back in a way that feels comfy. Nice. And now we're going to take the left foot directly down to the earth. Give yourself a bit of space between your foot and your left butt cheek. And now take this right foot and thread it underneath your little left leg tent. So your right foot is essentially underneath below your right butt cheek, to the point that if you reach your left hand down, you might be able to grab the big toe of that right foot. And if you can't grab your foot, it's no problem. If you can, go ahead and say hello to your right big toe. And already here, allow your right knee to just fall down towards the mat, and you might start to feel a nice stretch across your right quad muscle. Now, this is bus stop numero uno. We can stay here, or we can start to bend the left knee towards your chest and maybe grab a hold of your left knee with your right hand. And that's going to start to intensify the stretch of your right quad muscle. Now again, this is a really great place to stay, just breathing deeply. Or final option, if you like, is to draw that left knee towards your left armpit. So you sort of create this diagonal line with your knees across your body. Close your eyes here, find 3 full deep breaths. Relax your facial muscles. No tension in your body here. We're really trying to use gravity as much as we can to experience the stretch. Final breath. So we come out the reverse of the way we came in. So first, let go of your left knee and let your left foot slide down. And then unhand your foot as you release your your right foot from underneath your left leg. My lefts and rights are just golden today. Hug your knees into your chest. And then we'll take it to the other side. So let your right foot go down, a little bit of space between your foot and your butt. And then thread this left foot underneath your right knee so that your left foot is nice and close to your right butt cheek. And again, let that left knee fall to the side. And if you can, let your right hand go down by your side and maybe you grab hold of your left big toe now with your right fingers. But if you can't reach, it's no problem. Just really relax that left side. Okay, take a little breather here. I know that there are places to go if you want to go, but see if you can give yourself time at each stop just to notice how your body is responding. And if you want a little more, start to squeeze the right knee towards the chest, grabbing your right knee with your left hand. So we're all bound up. Beautiful. Couple of breaths here. Really super stretch across the front of that left quad muscle, the front of your left thigh. And then final option is to draw the right knee more towards the right armpit, creating this diagonal shape across your body. This is absolutely one of my favorite stretches for the quads. Again, another little tidbit from my yoga teacher. Final breath here, wherever you're at. As you exhale, first release your right leg, and then release your left leg. Hug both knees in towards your body. Take any final movements here that feel good for you before we end exactly as we started in a delightful Shavasana. So extend your legs out as long as your yoga mat, as wide as your yoga mat. Take up space with your arms, close down your eyes. And again, start to find that deep breath, the deepest breath that you've taken for the whole practice. Hold that breath at the top, hold it in your throat, and then open your mouth and sigh it out. Do that again if it felt good, if it served you. I hope that this practice has hit the spot for you post-workout, post-triathlon, post any kind of intense activity that was a little tough on your muscles. You've done a really great thing for your body by being here. I thank you so much for joining me today. Please stay in Shavasana for as long as feels good for you. This is where I'm going to leave you by bringing my hands together, thumbs at the third eye. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.